Okay, so Donald Trump has a Trump-affiliated hotel in the country of Panama. We've now learned that Trump and his family profited to the tune of millions of dollars by letting Colombian drug cartels, among other groups, use the resort to launder money. And of course, like with everything Trump-related, there are connections to Russia. It's never Equatorial Guinea. It's never Chile. It always is Russia. Global Witness did an investigation. Newsweek has been reporting on it pretty extensively. You know how sometimes Trump develops a resort or hotel, but other times someone else develops it and Trump licenses the Trump name to the hotel? He was having some tough financial times in the early 2000s, and that's what he did for a Panamanian a hotel called the Trump Ocean Club International Hotel and Tower. Drug cartels, can't write this stuff, and members of the Russian mafia, of course, right, because there's always a Russia connection, bought units at the hotel in order to hide the origins of money that they earned trafficking drugs and committing other crimes. And the Global Witness investigation says that Trump realistically earned tens of millions of dollars with these deals. And specifically, they were involved with a guy named Alexander Ventura Nogueira. And he was involved personally in roughly a third to half of the sales of the building's units. He was involved with a bunch of sketchy Russians. One guy who was ultimately jailed in Israel in the 90s for kidnapping, another Ukrainian investor who was arrested for smuggling people. And this is the best part. I just love this. The White House was asked for comment. They said no comment. No surprise, right? No comment so far. Ivanka Trump was asked for comment because she's allegedly involved in this also. No comment. Everybody says check with the Trump organization. So they did. And the chief lawyer for the Trump organization is a guy named Alan Garten, who said, no one at the Trump organization, including the Trump family, has any recollection of ever meeting or speaking with this individual, by this individual referring to Mr. Nogueira. However, here's a picture of Ivanka Trump with Mr. Nogueira. And then here is a picture of Donald Trump with Mr. Nogueira. And I know they have pictures with millions of people. Sarah Huckabee Sanders has said it. There's thousands of pictures with millions of people. Doesn't mean they know anybody, but it adds to the interest. And this is interesting for a number of reasons. Number one, this adds to the list of Donald Trump's financial conflicts of interest, which are now over 600 for him and over 1,100 for his family. Number two, again, always a Russia connection. Why is it never Madagascar? Why is it never whatever country, right? It's always Russia. And number three, this is not a particularly novel or creative way of laundering money. Investing in expensive real estate is a classic and known way for criminals to clean money that was gained illicitly. And remember, Trump said previously, oh, I may have sold some condos to some Russians. I'm not really sure, or whatever he likes to say. That reeked of money laundering then, and especially in the wake of these revelations, it reeks even more of money laundering. And this is actually part of a bigger concern around the finances of Donald Trump. It's widely reported that there was this period in the early 2000s where things were not going that well for Donald Trump financially. Corporate bankruptcies, Trump writes those off as him just being really smart and knowing how to use corporate bankruptcy to his advantage. Financial troubles that led to him starting to license his name all over the world. And then before you know it, Trump is out of financial trouble. And there's never been a really clear explanation as to just how Donald Trump got out of trouble so quickly. And my hope is that Robert Mueller's investigation will explain that and uncover the answer, because the timing of it is all really pointing to Trump getting out of financial trouble through a combination of money laundering to all sorts of bad actors, including Russian criminals, and taking money from all sorts of people, including Russian oligarchs. And there's one possibility here, which is he got out of financial trouble because he's really good at making deals. But then why did he sink into such financial distress in the first place? And the other possibility, which to me is the simplest one, is that Trump did some really sketchy things to get out of financial trouble, and that those things are the likely actions that allowed him to become compromised by foreign nations, including the nation that Robert Mueller is investigating, Russia. And I really hope that someday we'll get the full story. I don't know if we ever will. The video you just watched was made possible by support from you. Please go to patreon.com/David Pakman Show. You can make a pledge of as little as $1 per month. And every dollar helps to support the work that we're doing, particularly in light of the YouTube ad boycott, which has been really bad.